Welcome to the ultimate Season of Discovery DPS tier list. Keep in mind that this is for level 25. We are going to cover all classes and most specs, trying to figure out which class is going to stand out, which is going to have a bit the extra edge. This is not necessarily made for min-maxing, this is just made for fun. All the classes are going to be viable for Season of Discovery, all the DPS specs. With that being said, let's get right into it. And the first class that we have here is the Warrior, the Fury Warrior, the dual-wield Warrior. It's not Fury because we're not going to use Fury build, we're going to use an arm spec. I placed the Fury Warrior on an A tier and let me show you why. The Fury Warrior at level 25 is going to be relatively okay. The Warrior scale really good with gear. We went for 3 out of 3 heroic strikes. One of the reasons why we went for 3 out of 3 heroic strikes is because at level 24 we get the last rank, rank 4 of heroic strike. On top of that, we went with improved rend, 2 out of 2 charge for extra rage, improved overpower, deep wounds 1 point, and the rest of the points we went into cruelty for that extra 3% critical strike. For runes, we went for single-minded fury, 10% damage and movement speed, blood frenzy rune. Each time you deal bleed damage, you gain 3 rage, and consumed by rage, which enrages you and grants you 25% melee damage bonus for 12 seconds, up to a maximum of 12 swings after you exceed 80 rage. So the way this spec is going to work, you're probably gonna spam Sunder Armor. Not spam, just use every now and then Sunder Armor to the point where you get 80 rage. Once you get 80 rage, you're gonna use Consumed by Rage, and you're gonna pump, if you have a lot of rage, you're gonna pump heroic strikes, overpowers, and so on. The reason why you have the improved rend and the deep wounds is because of the blood frenzy at this level. I think it's gonna be the best rune, because you're gonna get rage from multiple sources, which is gonna mean you're gonna get faster to 80 rage. There's another one here, Flagellation, which gain 25% bonus to physical damage done for 12 seconds after activating blood rage and berserker rage. But since we don't have at level 25 berserker rage, I decided to went for the extra rage from blood frenzy. I think this is gonna be a great spec, 8 tier spec. Let's move to the next one. The second DPS spec is going to be the Beast Mastery Hunter, which we're going to go for an A tier as well. I wanted to go for an S tier with the Beast Mastery Hunter. I have my reasonings, but I just think that the pet is going to still die. And if you lose your pet as a Beast Master, you're not going to be as good. There's a lot of AoE spells, and I think an A tier for Beast Mastery Hunter is going to be great. And let me show you why. 5 points into Aspect of the Hawk. 3 points into Endurance Training, get 9% health, 2 points into Improved Revive Pet, and 5 points to Unleashed Fury to get 20% extra damage to your pet, and 3% critical chance to your pet as well from Ferocity. The runes are the following. Beast Master, your pet damage and health are increased by 30%, and its focus regeneration by 80%. So 30% damage and 80% focus regeneration. That means that most of the spells for Hunter, like Claw, like Bite, like Furious Howl, the rank 3 or rank 4 of them, they get it at level 24. So they're going to have the highest rank at level 25, so the level 24 rank, and it's going to synergize quite nice with the 20% damage done by your pets, 30% from here. Then we have Cobra Strikes. Your critical hits will shot abilities that cause your pet next to special attacks to critically hit. On top of that, we have Kill Command, which synergizes as well with all the other spells. Give the command to kill, increasing your pet's damage done by special attacks by 60% for 30 seconds. Each special attack done by the pet reduces damage bonus by 20%. So basically, the synergy between here, if you manage to keep your pet alive, is going to be really great. Make sure you ask the healers to either buff your pet with resistances or heal them. A good healer will heal a pet. Let's move to the next one. Destruction Lock is going to go all the way up to the 8 tier as well. 5 points into Cataclysm for 5% mana reduction to spells. It's not much. 5 points into Bane. Reduces the casting time of your Immolate by 0.5 seconds. We have Devastation. Increases the critical strike chance of your destruction spells by 5%. And then we have Improved Firebolt, which reduces the cast time of your Imp's Firebolt by 0.5%. In terms of runes, we have Chaos Bolt, which deals 225 to 286 fire damage. Lake of Fire, which increases damage dealt by you and your pet by 40% while you're into that Lake of Fire. Or your pet. Or the mob is affected by it. Not sure exactly how it works, but it should be a flat 40% damage buff for 15 seconds. It's like a trinket, a burst trinket. And then we have Incinerate, which also increases the damage you deal by 25% for the next 15 seconds. Due to this, I'm choosing to put Warlock on the A tier list, the Destruction Fire Warlock. Unfortunately, the problem that we see here, we do not have a lot of hit at this level. That's one of the reasons why it's not going to S tier. And another reason why the Warlock doesn't go, the Fire Warlock doesn't go to S tier is because the talents don't benefit as much as we would like at level 25, the Fire spec. Let's move on to the next one. Fire Mage. This is my first S tier class. I know I am biased. I play a Mage. Maybe that's the reason why I chose Fire Mage here. But let me tell you why. Fire Mage in Classic requires a lot of stats, especially critical strike rating, to be able to function properly. The spec we went from is 3 out of 3 elemental precision, which gives us a 6% chance to hit. Improve Fireball to modify to 3 seconds. Ignite, additional damage over 4 seconds, 40% of your spell damage. Incinerate 1 point, and also Burning Soul, 70% chance to not lose casting while taking damage. For runes, we went for Living Bomb. Burnout, which gives you a flat 15% chance to crit, which makes this spec viable, basically. You're gonna have like already a chance to crit at this level. I'm not sure exactly how much it's gonna be, 5 to 10%, then we add another 15%, maybe some buffs, maybe some other things. We're gonna manage to pump that chance to crit higher so we can get some more ignites. And then for the third one, we have Living Flame. Summons a Spellfire Flame that moves towards target, leaving a trail of Spellfire. This does 42 Spellfire damage every second to nearby enemies, last 20 seconds. So 20 seconds times 42, it's 820 damage over the course of 20 seconds. Another reason why I think Mage is going to perform quite well, it's because the spell, Scorch, rank 1, comes at level 25, a 1.5 second cast with barely any mana cost, 50 mana cost, which deals a lot of damage. This is without spell power. And then we have the Fireball at level 24, which deals 140 to 187 damage. Combine that with Living Bomb and Living Flame. Also combine it with the extra crit chance from Burnout. I think Fire Mage has a potential to be one of the best DPS classes at this level. However, we still need to test it. We don't know exactly if it's going to work like this. In theory, it sounds doable. Let's move to the next one. Next one, it's Arcane Mage. Another one that I would put on the S tier. I know, guys, I'm biased. I played too much Mage. One of the reasons why Arcane spec I think is going to be good is for the flat 10% chance to hit. You get from the talents, the very first 3, 10% chance to hit with the Arcane spells. Also, you get the Arcane Subtlety, which decreases the magical resistances of your target and reduces the threat of your Arcane spells, which is basically, if you think about it, kind of like a chance to hit as well. Reduces threat as well. We have the Clear Cast, Arcane Concentration, which is going to give us a free cast every now and then on proc. We have the one spec, if we run out of mana. I don't think this is going to be the case. Mages have like mana gems. Mages have like mana potions. We get evocation at level 20. So in theory, the mana won't be such a huge issue. Also, I took Improved Arcane Explosion for that extra AoE damage. Arcane Blast in the first rune, dealing up to 221 arcane damage. Each time you cast Arcane Blast, the damage and healing of all arcane spells is increased by 15%, and mana cost of Arcane Blast is increased by 175%. Effect stacks up to 4 times and lasts 6 seconds, until any other arcane damage healing spell is cast. Enlightenment, you deal 10% more damage while you have more than 70% mana. This is going to be good because you're going to try to keep the 10% damage as much as possible, so you cast a couple of spells, you use the mana gems. You cast a couple of spells, you use your mana potion. You cast a couple of spells, you ask for an Innervate. You reach 30% mana, you fully evocate. Just to try to keep that 10% damage on top. And once below 30% mana, 10% of your mana will continue to regenerate while casting. Arcane Surge. Unleash all your remaining mana in a surge of energy. Focus with the target, dealing 95 to 111 arcane damage, increasing by up to 300 based on your mana remaining, 300%. Afterward, your normal mana regeneration is activated and increased by 300% for 8 seconds. This with the ability to have other classes that can restore mana in the party, such as Shaman with a Totem, such as Shamanistic Rage. Paladins now can help you restore mana. I think Arcane is going to be potentially S tier spec. One of the favorite classes, in Season of Discovery, Paladin. Not because it's a great class, it's because it got a lot of changes, but you can now tank with it, you can... But people are most hyped probably about the red spec. And the red spec, I think, is gonna be S tier, top right there. They got so many changes. It's gonna be crazy. For the red spec, we went for 5 Benediction, 15% mana direction to Judgments and Seals, 3 out of 3 Blessing of Mind for extra attack power, improved Judgment, 2 seconds decrease cooldown of your Judgment, 5 into Conviction, 5% critical strike, and obviously Seal of Command. The good old Seal of Command, which at this level, it's kind of great. One of the reasons why Paladin is going to perform good in S tier at this level, it's because the talents are really good for this level, and also he's going to get the Mace quest. I don't know the name of the Mace, but it's a Mace that you obtain at level 20, and it's a Mace that it should require level 30. For the runes, we went for Crusader Strike, an instant strike that deals 75% weapon damage and regenerates 2% of your maximum mana. This has a 6-second cooldown. We went for Divine Storm, 110% weapon damage, and striking up to 4 enemies within 8 yards, also heals. And then we went for Exorcist, which now Exorcism can be used on any target, and it deals 100% critical strike if it's demon or undead. Simple spec, simple points. A couple of good things about this. I think Exorcism, the rank 1 you get at level 20. It deals up to 100 damage. You don't have a lot on your toolkit. The things that you have on your toolkit that are going to be really great are going to be the latest things here. Now you're going to have a rotation focused on Judgment, a rotation focused on Crusader Strike, Divine Storm, and maybe even Wave and Exorcism in between. It's going to be S tier definitely, and judging by the Mace they have at level 25, it's going to be fun as well. Combat Rogue, we went also for an A tier. I know we put a lot of classes on A tier and S tier, but the way I envision playing those classes, I think they deserve their spot there. For combat, we went for 2 out of 2 improved Sinister Strike, because the Saber Strike, which is our new feeler, which is like our new Sinister Strike, is going to be benefiting from the same talents. We went for a 5 out of 5 Malice, 5% critical strike, some extra improved strikes and dice timer to keep 30% up, Ruthlessness, 60% chance to add a combo point to your target, Relentless Strikes, and Lethality. For the chest rune, we went for Deadly Brew. When you inflict any other poison on a target, you also put Deadly Poison. So you're going to use 2 instant, and then you're going to put Deadly Poison as well, which is going to give more damage. And then Envenom is going to be our new finisher, which is going to, well, not only do damage when you use it, but also increase 75% increasing frequency of applying instant poison for 1 second, plus an additional 1 second per combo point. So it's going to be kind of like how you played like the Wrath of the Lich King rogue. Later on, it's going to be even better. But right now, we keep this combat kind of a combat rogue, because we didn't go combat, we went assassination, but we call it the combat spec. However, there is another combat spec, which we're going to talk about it later. Shadow Priest is going to go here, unfortunately, on a C tier. And I know a lot of you are hyped about the Shadow Priest, but the reality is that Shadow Priest doesn't really change the gameplay as much as you would expect, like compared to other classes. We went for the classic 5 points in 1 spec for 25% extra 1 damage, and that's because I don't see any other ways of getting the mana back as a Shadow Priest. Spirit Tap, 5 out of 5. We went for 2 out of 2 improved Shadow Warp Pain. Shadow Warp Pain also, it's only rank 3, because the next rank I think is level 26, which it's not that great. Deals 132 damage over 18 seconds. If we would have gotten the 26 rank, would have been even better. 6 points into chance to hit with Shadow Spells and also Mind Flay. We went for Void Plague with Shadow Word Death and Homunculi. I'm pretty sure there can be better specs here. Unfortunately, one of the things that Blizzard probably didn't manage to do this one, try to solve the old issues with the mana problems. Here the mana problems are going to be an issue. Although I think at the next level cap, at level 40, probably Shadow Priest is going to perform much better because he gets the Shadow Form and a lot of other things that are just going to benefit more. Balanced Druid goes into a B tier here. 5 out of 5 Rat to reduce the cast time of your Rat spell by 5 seconds. 0.5 seconds. That's because you get the Fury of the Storm Rage, which reduces the mana cost of your Rat by 100%. We move into Moonfire, which increases the damage and critical strike of your Moonfire by 10%. But that's because Sunfire is going to benefit from that talent as well. We went to improve Thorns because Thorns we get at level 24. Thorns is going to be great for tanks. 75% extra damage caused by Thorns. Thorns we get at level 24 a new rank, which is pretty cool. We got 2 points into Nature's Reach, which increases the range of your Rat, Entangling Roots, Fairy Fire, Moonfire. Basically the new spells that we get here. And 1 point into increase the critical strike damage bonus of your Starfire, Moonfire, and Rat spells by 20%. Compared to the Shadow Priest, it's slightly better, but I don't see the Druid being like really top right there. Moonfire, we get... what's the rank of Moonfire we get here? The Rat. Rat, we get rank 4, which is at level 22. Deals 63 with 73 damage on a 2-second cast. Even spamming Rat for the entire fight might be even a good DPS since it doesn't cost any mana. You never run out of mana. But that's just like... I think it has a potential to be an A tier class. But we put it on B. Feral DPS, on the other hand, I think is going to be A tier material. And here is why. Mangle is going to deal 160% normal damage and cause the target to take additional 30% damage from bleeds effects and shreds. 30% extra damage from bleeds. While you are in cat form, bear form, or dire bear form, your party members within 20 yards gain combat ferocity. Each melee hit has 20% chance granting the attacker extra attack with 20% additional attack power. Basically, this is like a Wind Fury. And then we have something called Savage Roars, which your finishing moves now increase the physical damage done by 30% while in cat form. This is huge. This is like a flat 30% damage buff. I'm not sure exactly how the Feral Druid is going to perform, but the talent specs look something like 5 into Ferocity, Sharpened Claws for 6% crit, and also Blood Frenzy, which is going to give you more combo points. Because your critical strikes from cat form abilities have 50% chance to add an additional combo point. And I think critical strike is going to be relatively high. There's another spec that you can go for 5 points into natural weapons, which is going to give you 10% physical damage. It's up to you. I think this one is going to be more popular, however. I think A tier is perfect for the Feral Druid. Let's move to the next class. Elemental Shaman. Another B class here. Elemental, I put it on the same tier with the Balanced Druid. B tier. Concussion, damage done by lightning, chain lightning, lightning bolt by 5%. Reduces the mana cost of your shock, lightning bolt, and chain lightning spells by 10%. Clear casting, obviously. 100% mana reduction on your next spell. And Call of Thunder, which increases the critical strike chance of your lightning bolt and chain lightning spells by additional 6%. We went for Lava Burst, which is a molten lava at the target. You hurl it, dealing 200 to 250 damage. If the Flame Shock is in the target, you will deal a critical strike. We went for Overload. Gives your lightning bolt, chain lightning, and chain heal a 33% chance to cast a second similar spell on the target at no additional cost that does half of the damage. And then we have Shamanistic Rage, obviously, to gain some mana back, because Shamans have problems, just like Priests and Boomkins, with mana. Shamanistic Rage also gives to the party members, I think, now, so it's going to be even better. You have to keep in mind that looking at this and at the talent specs and everything, Shaman should be like probably A or S tier. However, there's a catch to it. First and foremost, the Lightning Bolt, it's only at level 25, it's only a rank 4, which is going to deal 83 with 95 damage. It's a level 20 spell. It's not, unfortunately, level 25. And half of the damage from Overlord is going to be like 40 as well. Another thing is that you get all those talents which affect your Chain Lightning. Unfortunately, you do not have Chain Lightning at this level. I think Chain Lightning comes later. Shaman Elemental at level 40 is going to be much better than at level 25, that's for sure. That's the reason why today it goes only on the tier with the Moonkin. Enhancement Shaman goes on the B tier as well. Increases max mana by 5%. Ghost Wolf, Thundering Strikes, 5% critical strike into Enhancing Totems. Into Flurry, 1 point. The talents are not that great at this level. Dual Wield spec, chance to hit by 5%. Storm Strike ability hits with both weapons while dual wielding. Lava Lash, you charge your offhand weapons with lava, instantly dealing 100% offhand weapon damage. Damage is increased by 20% if your offhand weapon is enchanted with Flame Tongue. Obviously, Shamanistic Rage as well for the mana regen. This spec has a lot of potential, however, at level 25, you just don't have enough talents. Later on, you're going to get Weapon Mastery. Later on, you're going to get Storm Strike. Later on, you're going to get a lot of other items, talents that are going to make this spec whole. So far, it's not whole, it's not full. However, there's a lot of potential with the current buffs that we have in the game. Maybe it's going to work quite great. Marksmanship Hunter goes to A tier. There's been recently a nerf to Lone Wolf, which reduced the damage while the pet is not active from 25 to 15. And also there's been a nerf to Sniper Training, reducing the critical strike chance from 30% while you haven't moved for 6 seconds to 10%. Which makes the Marksman kind of... I think it's still gonna be potentially A or B tier. Because let's be honest, lethal shots, we have aim shot, we have Hawkeye, we have 15% extra damage and also 10% crit. I still think it's gonna be good because the hunter scales quite well at level 25. You get a good bow, and you get a lot of agility gear, and you're just gonna do a lot of damage overall. I do think that Beastmaster is going to be probably slightly better than Marksmanship. Affliction Lock. This is an underrated class. I know it sounds weird, but I think it's A tier. People are not hyped about Affliction Locked. Everyone goes for destruction, destruction, destruction. But to tell you the truth, it looks good. We have 5 points in suppression, which gives you 10% hit with shadow spells, with affliction spells. And then we have corruption, obviously, which we don't even probably have to get 5, but we're gonna get 5 for multi-dotting. I'm gonna tell you soon why. We have improved life tap. We have 2 points in the improved Curse of Agony, amplify curse, so we can amplify that Curse of Agony. And then we have a Nightfall, so we can weave a Shadow Bolt in every now and then. One of the funny parts here is that we get Corruption at level 24, a new rank, which deals 222 damage over 18 seconds. And it scales really well with Shadow Power gear. Now, I've done a sim on my Warlock, level 25 Warlock, and I was able to grind about 115 Shadow Power at level 25. If you manage to get 116 Shadow Power at level 25, you have to understand that those dots scale quite well with Shadow Power. So it might be the silent class that is going to rock here. Curse of Agony, it's only level 18, but yet again, it does a lot of damage at this level. In terms of the runes, we went for Haunt, obviously. 20% extra increased damage to all dots, plus it does a damage on hit. You get healed too. Master Channeler, your Drain Life is no longer channeled, so you can apply it like a dot. Costs more mana, but heals you for 50% more, so you can life tap more. And then we have like Everlasting Affliction, which the duration of your corruption will be always reset to the maximum duration, basically. So the gameplay on the Warlock is going to be probably applying the dots, keeping them up, and in between try to life tap to get the mana back. Seems pretty good, and you're going to heal yourself with Drain Life and with Haunt as well. I think this is going to be the class that is going to shock people the most. The Frost spell on Mage is going to be a C tier right now. I'm pretty sure it's not a C tier. It's just that I'm biased with Frost Mages, and due to the toolkit they have at this level, I don't want to put it on B. However, it probably deserves a B tier, to be honest. 5 into 5 improved Frostbolt with Elemental Precision to get that hit. 5 into 5 Eye Shards for the critical strike damage bonus, and 3 out of 3 Piercing Eyes for 6 extra Frost damage. We get only rank 4 Frostbolt at this level, compared to rank 4 Fireball. Deals double amount of damage, maybe even more than double than the Frostbolt. The cast time is obviously slower on Frostbolt. It's going to be 2.1 seconds with the improved Frostbolt. Ice Lance into Burnout for the 15% extra critical strike, and Icy Veins as well for faster casting. Doesn't cost a lot of mana, so you can cast a lot of Frostbolts. However, I think it would be even better to go for probably Leaving Bomb. Leaving Bomb into Burnout into Icy Veins, and then if you really want to cast Frostbolts because that's what you love, I think it might be better than Ice Lance. Frost doesn't have like the level spell of the spell ranks. Probably at level 40 the rank of Frostbolt will be at level 38. Also, you're gonna get things like Shatter, Fingers of Frost. You're gonna get things like Arctic Reach, Frost Channeling, Winter's Chill, which is gonna give extra critical strike, 10%. Maybe Frost is gonna be better at level 40. However, right now, Fire is just superior in every way compared to Frost. Assassination Rogue is probably going to be A tier right here with the Combat Rogue. We went for a 3 out of 3 improved Backstab for 30% critical strike and 20% damage, extra damage to Mutilate, because Mutilate benefits the talents that affect Backstab. We have Deadly Brew and Envenom. Extra hit here as well. And a lot of damage increase and a lot of critical strike. Keep in mind that the Rogue, it's not mana, it's not rage, it's on energy based. I think this is going to be a quite good spec, A tier, but there's actually a better spec for Rogue. which is the Combat Dagger. I know we have Combat on A tier, but we're going to put the Combat Dagger on the S tier. And the Combat Dagger is going to be something like this. We're going to go here for Shadow Strike. We're going to go for Slaughter from the Shadows. And we're going to go here for Envenom. The same talent build right here. And we have the energy reduction cost of your Backstab and Ambush abilities by 20 energy. Does not apply to Mutilate. This is why Combat Dagger, I think, is going to be potentially the best spec in the game. And we have a Shadow Strike, teleport behind the target, and strike causing 150% weapon damage to the target must be stealthed. This is like an opener. And then we have Envenom, obviously, which is going to be our new finisher. 20% increased to backstab damage and 30% crit, plus the agility, plus the hit, plus the everything. I think this is potentially the best spec in Classic WoW. There's going to be a Survival Hunter. I didn't know where to put this one. I'm just going to put it on B tier. I haven't found a viable spec. I think Marksmanship or Beastmaster is the one that you can choose. Arms Warrior, well, Arms Warrior, Fury is just too good. It's probably going to be somewhere here around B as well. And then we have a Sub, which it's not going to be a sub spec. It's going to be a combat spec, the one with the daggers. And this is the final list, guys. Let me know what you think about this list in the comments down below. Do you agree with it? What would you change? What are the classes that you're going to play on Season of Discovery? Find me live at twitch.tv/Frostadamus. If you're looking for a guide to level multiple characters in Season of Discovery, there's a link in the description. The guide is free 1 to 20. You can level multiple characters, but then in the future, if you choose to upgrade to a full version of the guide, you can use my code Frostadamus and get 5% off. With that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching again. Have a lovely rest of the day, and until next time, stay frosty. Bye-bye!